Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It was a nice week off last week, but we're back. Welcome to Predicting Tranquility. Tonight, I'm joined by Magpolar and Phoenix. How's it going, guys?
Going pretty good.
Uh, yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I,
mm,
I said I'm just like excited to play Overwatch 2 this week.
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
I mean, I'm just watching, but I'm excited. I'm excited to play some comp, and who knows? Maybe next season I might get back into the game. Um, But tonight, we have for you predictions for all 41 matches. We're going to be talking about all 82 teams. That number is definitely less than it was because I think that's still the same number from the beginning of the season. But I don't know what the actual number is now, so I'm not gonna make up numbers. We're gonna highlight every single tier, every single pool. Every single team is going to get a little bit of coverage. And as per weeks past, the prediction sheet is out in the live content discussion channel. Scroll down there, get your predictions in. I know some people probably forgot about it because event weekend whatever. So um, I will leave it open for a little bit longer than I typically do. But it will probably be closed before the EU matches start tomorrow, just so that people aren't going in and changing their preds and stuff, which has happened. So yeah. But let's just dive straight into the matches. Polar, what do we have? I gotta find where I'm going. Oh my gosh. I gotta get back into the swing of things. Polar, what do we have for EU Harmony?
Well, EU Harmony, again, starting off with the Hope Guardians versus the Dino Nuggies. Nerf has gone 1-3 for Hope Guardians, and then me and Phoenix have gone for map 5-3 to win for the Hope Guardians. Map 2 is going to be Celsius 522 versus the Brig Divers. All of us having the Brig Divers, myself, the only Celsius 522 Summit leader, giving them a map. And then the final map is Acer versus Hivemind, of me and Phoenix giving Hivemind the win, with Nerf actually predicting Acer for the 3-1 win.
Yeah, for the Acer match, I don't know, I just have a feeling. I feel like I've predicted Acer a lot, and they haven't really lived up to expectations for me, but I'm gonna keep doing it. And then the other match, I just wanted to take a quick look at was Hope Guardians versus the Dino Nuggies. I'm going against everybody else here for the sole reason of I just after the Big Divers match last week, I kind of feel as though a lot of Hope Guardians' success has been somewhat of a fluke. I feel like they haven't necessarily played some of the higher tier teams in Harmony, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I have faith in the Dino Nuggies. They've been a very solid team for a large portion of the season. So yeah. Um, unless either of you guys have anything, I'm gonna move across.
No.
All right. So straight over to NA. And you'll notice immediately there's something wrong at the bottom. Don't worry, that is intentional. So the first match we have is Geometric versus Ace High. Everybody going in favor of Geometric. Me and Phoenix with a 3-1 and Polar with a 3-2. The next match is the Galactic Penguins versus Insidious. 4-0 for me, 3-1 for the other two. And then, you might be thinking, this isn't a Harmony or MA match. Well, you would be correct. We do not have graphics at the moment for the Elim pools, so I had to kind of merge the Elim pool matches into the other three pools. So that bottom match in each of the pools, that is an Elim pool match. That is not one of the matches that actually occurs in this pool. But anyways, Chicago Mafia versus Ragnarok Freya. All in favor of Mafia, me and Phoenix going for 3-1, and Polar going 3-2 on that one. So, something I typically do is I like to talk about a match that we all went in favor of one team, but I think it's pretty close. And I want to look at the Geometric versus Ace High match here. Because I think Ace High have had a pretty strong showing for a large majority of the season. That Week 5 match going to 5 against 3.5 was a little bit shaky. Not exactly what you would expect to see out of them. But I think for the most part, Ace High have had a pretty strong showing this season. So tell me, guys, how does Ace High win this? What are we thinking?
I think it's just all in the Twitter game for Ace High. I mean, great
Yeah,
social media presence for that team. I think to keep it up, mixing, not too much trash talk, obviously, but mix in a little thing to make it a little grimy match, and take a couple map wins, and then map 5 get the win, and it's just some Twitter clout for the taking.
For sure. Ace High also went to a 5 map series with flashbacks, one of our like leading teams so far, and it's like one of 2 teams to actually take maps off of flashbacks. So I think that they can still pretty much stand their own against high tier. So they might get an upset win against Geometric, because Geometric is also pretty high there. So it could go either way, but I think Geometric's more consistent overall.
I mean, obviously, as the geometric manager, I'm not gonna give you the keys to success. I'm not gonna tell you how to beat my team, but we're not immortal. I will say that. I think we're gonna transition to Overwatch 2 very well. But I think Ace High are as well. So I think there's gonna be a very good match, a very very important match to watch. Because there are major playoff implications. I think this one and then Penguins. I think those are the 3 teams kind of competing for that top spot, and I think they're all very close. So we'll have to see how that ends up at the end of the stage. Phoenix though, moving over to Harmony Orem B. What do we have in that pool?
So our first match would be Big Bang Buccaneers versus Norwal. Uh, Me and Nerf have a 3-1 in favor of Big Bang, and Mike Polar has a 4-0 sweep in favor of Big Bang. Then we have Malavit Gaming versus Chrysalis. Nerf has a 4-0. Me and Mike Polar have 3-1 win. And then in our Elam pool team, we have 3.5 versus Fighting Potatoes. Nerfed and Polar have 3.5 winning this, but I decide that Fighting Potatoes will win map 5 and clutch out the series.
I think this is a good one. That 3.5 versus Fighting Potatoes match. I think 3.5 impressed me against Ace High, and so I have faith in them. So even though I'm giving the win to 3.5 here, I think Fighting Potatoes are another team to be on the lookout for. Uh, with there only being 6 teams in Elim pool, it's a lot easier to make it out. And I think with all those factors, I think Fighting Potatoes has a very good shot at doing it. So yeah. Um,
Want to give a shout out to the Big Bang Buccaneers tank, Jewish Missile.
mhm.
Just been dominating the ladder on Orisa
Has
with
he?
the new
For
rework.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, a little
I
bit of
haven't seen that, but that's nice.
a little bit of not maybe not scrim bucks, but platinum ranked bucks. Like this guy is he's coming for everyone's neck with the Orisa. So keep on the eye for that.
Yeah, that tank transition is the most important thing I think for a lot of these teams. Because even though the standings might seem set right now, even though we are starting to get into a point where we kind of know where some of these teams fall, yeah, everything is different now that it's Overwatch 2, even though it might not seem that way. So I think the tank transition is a very big factor. So if Jewish Missile is doing great and ranked, I think that's a very very good sign for Big Bang. Moving over to Harmony Indigo A, what do we have here, Polar?
First match is gonna be X Kusanagi versus Flashbacks. All of us giving the underdog Flashbacks a 4-0 victory. Yeah, except Nerf giving the map to X Kusanagi. Strix and Qual Kings going with a bit of a mixed bag, with Nerf giving a 1-3 win for the Qual Kings, where me and Phoenix both giving Strix the win, with me giving a 3-1, Phoenix a 3-2. And our last match is Titanium versus Obfuscation. I'm saying that wrong, but I'm giving
Something
I'm
like
giving them
that.
the loss actually 4-0. Completely different side for Nerfed and Phoenix, with both pretty dominant wins.
So, okay. I was very surprised to see both of you going for Koala Kings when I was doing the predictions. I think they're like a top 2 team. So I was kind of wondering what your guys' thoughts are on why you think Strix has taken this match.
Bit of a
Oh,
mixed bag. Overwatch 2, obviously, given the shaking things up. I think Strix looked really strong at the start of the season when everything was kind of new. Maybe, they are really good at the start of things. I don't really know. I mean, that's kind of a shot in the dark, but that's at least my little tiny bit of thinking there.
Mhm. I also think Koala Kings is a bit unproven in their stage one. Like the second highest in their division last stage is ranked ninth overall. So I feel like um, this could be like a very close game more than it seems. Even though Koala Kings did have that golden stage, I feel like um, in the stage where Strix was, it was a lot much harder. Than they had to fight tooth and nail to get into this division. So
Yeah, I think for me that is a very good point. That I mean that was a theme throughout last stage. Was we kind of talked about how Koala Kings had like a pretty easy pool. Not really too many teams in there to give them that much competition. But I think more so than the quality of teams they played against, I look at the quality of players because their roster is very, very good, and I have a lot of faith in them to do very good things. Um, and I think that's like kind of the biggest thing that like a lot of people kind of gotta drop is like the whole strength of schedule thing because I think that that won't be too big of an issue. Um, but again, who knows? With it being Overwatch 2, if you want to get the Preds right, kind of gotta go for some upsets here because, like I said, don't really know a whole lot about all these teams since it's basically a new game. Let's move it down though to Harmony Indigo B. Our first match is Chinchillas versus Fahrenheit 972. Me and Phoenix giving the 4-0 to Fahrenheit with Polar giving Chinchillas a map. And the second one is FBRD versus Clairvoyance. I went with a 3-1 in favor of Clairvoyance. Phoenix agrees, but he has it going to 5. And Polar going the opposite direction with a 3-1 win for Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. And then that Elim pool match isn't happening. That's just the two teams that don't exist anymore. Um, so Polar, kind of walk me through a little bit what your thought process was for Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, because I think these teams are close, but I'm a very big Clairvoyance fan. So
I mean, this is a scrappy match. I mean, this isn't the two most proven teams we've seen.
definitely, yeah.
It's kind of just a couple haymakers going back and forth. I'm just putting my money on FPRD.
Okay,
We'll
yeah.
see what happens with that.
No, yeah, that's valid. I think these two teams are very scrappy. And I think that they will play a close series. So yeah, we'll have to see how that one goes. Moving back over to EU though, Phoenix, what do we have for EU Discord?
over in EU Discord, we have Cam versus Berserk. We all have a 3-1 prediction in favor of Cam. And then we have Feeders United versus Deathwatch. We all predict Feeders United winning, although Nerf has a 4-0 sweep, while I predict it's going to be a bit harder, and Mike Bowler predicts it's going to be a map 5. Then we have Dragon's Aura versus Feeders Divided. Nerf went for the map 5 in favor of Feeders Divided, while me and Mike Polar went for Dragon's Aura, clutching it out. And then the last one is Mythical Kitsune versus Pay to Win. Um, Me and Mike Polar have 3-1 in favor of Kitsune, and Nerf favors Pay to Win in this matchup.
I think I wanted to change my opinion on that Dragon's Aura match last second. I don't remember if I actually went through with it or not. But I think those two teams are very close together. Um, I think it was something about like quality of wins or something. I don't remember. Um, but I think that'll be a close match. The other one I wanted to look at really quick was Deathwatch versus Feeders United. Um, Feeders United have not dropped a map. Deathwatch have against similar opponents. I think that that will not change. I think Feeders United kind of have that like elite status in the Discord here, where they I do not see them dropping a map really. Um, I mean, now with it being round or not round robins, Swiss, they will be facing like the high quality opponents every single week. But I do not think that'll matter. I have very strong hopes for Feeders United here. Um, but moving back over to the NA side of things, where I think we're all definitely a little bit more comfortable. Know the teams a bit more. What do we have here? Polar and Discord Orem A.
Our first match will be Chicago Deep Dish versus the Doodles. Um, Another somewhat of a mixed bag. Both me and Nerf going for 3-1 in favor of the Doodles, where Phoenix is map 5 for Deep Dish. And then ML7 versus Joey Esports. All of us taking ML7 3-1, myself taking a 4-0 for them. And then our last match, I'm reading this right, is F214 versus Monarch, with all of us having F214 winning with 2 4-0s and Phoenix giving a 3-1.
So okay, the Deep Dish Doodles scoreline. I don't know if that's controversial or not. I'm not sure where people stand on Deep Dish at the moment. They have made a lot of roster changes, so you're not exactly seeing the exact same team that you did in stage one. But for me, it was a large factor was Doodles. I think that they play the best in a very chaotic style, and that's kind of something you can get away with a lot more. I think in Overwatch 2, especially since it's a lot more individualistic, and any player getting a 2 or 3K, that's major impact, and you can kind of just win fights off that. But
Yeah.
Phoenix, what was your yeah, what was your thought process on
Yeah.
Deep Dish?
So originally I was thinking of Doodles. I kind of favored a bit high, but in their last match against uh Avalon, we kind of dropped the ball there. So I thought I would carry and over until this week. But the more I think about it, the more like having Overwatch 2 come out and like new defined metas make it very easy for Doodles to do what they do and so chaos and have these weird comps that people don't know what to do with. So I could easily see Doodles getting this as well.
Yeah, watch out for Doodles because I think a lot of people think it's between MI7, Rem, and like I said, I don't know where people stand on Deep Dish anymore, but I think it's between those three teams in a lot of people's eyes. Watch out for Doodles though, because a lot of people did not consider them to be the favorites last season, and they won the tier, so watch out for them. Moving over to Discord Orem B, we have Loki versus Hades. 4-0s for me and Polar in favor of Loki. 3-1 for Phoenix. The next match is, I think this is going to be a good one. I believe this is also our featured match. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. I know what it is, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Adelaide versus Space Created, 3-1 for me and Phoenix in favor of Adelaide, and I'm at 5 for Polar, still in favor of Adelaide, however. And the last match is Nemesis versus Reckless Upsilon, 4-0 for Nemesis for me, 3-1 for Polar, and 3-2 for Phoenix. Um, I think the actual Discord RMB pool is very close. I think besides Hades, who kind of started strong and went on a little bit of a downward trajectory from there, kind of hit a little bit of a slump towards the end of the stage. I think that the other three teams all had very solid showings against some really good teams. Um, Space Created and Loki specifically were in very tough pools, and Adelaide, I mean, they had to play like the top two teams. So I think I think these three teams are very close. Um, but yeah. Um, any thoughts on this pool, guys? Or
Gonna be close. I can see a couple teams taking it. Space
Yeah.
Created could come with an upset here and there. Maybe shake it up. The Givens is looking very strong. Nemesis might be able to, they could win on the first week, maybe win the whole pool. I don't really know.
I'm a Nemesis fan, and I think that they will have a very strong showing in the Elam pool. I think that they kind of got there via just a strong strength of schedule more so than anything else. But yeah. Phoenix, did you have something or?
No, it just kind of pains me to uh, vote for Loki.
uh, um, let's move over to Indigo A. What do we have there, Phoenix?
All right, so our first match would be Galactic Gibbons versus Avalon. Nerf has 3-1 for Galactic Gibbons. Magpolar has 3-2 for Gibbons, and then I have a 1-3 for Avalon. And then we have Reminiscence versus Redacted. Um, Nerfed and Magpolar go for a rem win. Nerfed has it a bit closer with the 3-1, and then I favor Redacted in a 5 map. And then we have Vampires versus Poseidon. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
For a second, I thought they were Elim Pool. My bad.
Well, they are, but we're talking about
Yeah.
them now, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Vampires, we all have them winning. I have a 5 map series where Poseidon gets 2.
So, all right. I know my thought process behind picking Gibbons here. Um, no bias at all. Uh, this was also the feature match, by the way. That's how I know what it was. But Polar, what would I think this is in a lot of people's eyes going to be an upset if the Gibbons do take it out. So what's your thought process there?
Um, I mean, it is tough for the Gibbons losing someone like Magic Otter. It's definitely not the player you want to leave your team. Um, but how many times and like it's a great team overall as well around it. And how many times do we see in other sports a great players drop and you seem like a honeymoon period of just random people pulling together? Again, a kind of theme of overall me is I'm not really too good at giving actual explanations, just kind of throwing some stuff at the wall. But I think another feeling right here. Like all the cards are against Galactic Givens. But I don't know. We'll see.
I think the cards are kind of stacked a little bit against Avalon because I haven't really kept up with them, but they dropped like 4 or 5 players. Um, yeah, that's
They're on the mega honeymoon period. They're going to win actually
yeah,
4-0. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm changing my thing.
you dropped half your roster. I mean, that honeymoon period's got to be crazy.
That's going to be crazy.
Um, I will say though, I will not predict a 4-0 for Gibbons in any future matches. And I recommend you do the same because I told Clem that if we're up 3-0, I will let him play Genji. So do not predict a 4-0 because it will not happen. I
Okay, let me
doubt
write that
doubt anyone would
down.
anyways though.
Predict
Phoenix, I
for
saw.
during playoffs.
Sorry.
I said I'm definitely not writing that down to predict 4-0 during playoffs.
Yeah, it will not happen. Phoenix, before I kind of cut you off, but Choi was asking why you think Rem loses to Redacted, so I'm kind of interested in that as well. What is your thought process?
Well, I think Redacted had some really strong wins in their stage a few weeks ago. Like they won against Spuds, Joey, Vampire. So I feel like they're one of the teams that shouldn't be slept on. And then Rem had like a really strong start, but they started losing maps to like MI7, which is also like a good contender. So I feel like there is upset potential. I don't think that um, like Redacted is favored in this matchup. I just see it where this is a period where Rem could be probably beaten with an upset win.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I mean, I think most people will kind of think of Reminiscence as being immortal, but I do not think that they are. I do not think any team in any pool of any tier is unbeatable. Maybe Feeders Divided or Feeders United, sorry, and maybe Guangzhou Gangsters. But I think everybody else there is a chance for them to lose. So nothing is definitely guaranteed for Rem, and I think Redacted is one of those teams that was on the up and up towards the end of the last stage. So definitely good results to look out for from them. Sorry, I just gotta check real quick where we're at. Magpolar, what do we have in Discord Indigo B?
Our first match is going to be Hammerhead versus the Adrenalines with reading this right. So Nerf going for 3-2 for the Adrenalines, myself going for 4-0 for the Hammerhead, and Phoenix going for 3-1 for Adrenalines. And the second game going to be Thunder Duckies versus SEAL Team Spuds, with all of us taking SEAL Team Spuds for the win, but me and Phoenix taking map 5 wins and Nerf taking a 3-1. And then the last match is going to be Covenant Castaways versus TBD. Pretty dominant performance looking like here from Covenant Castaways. We'll see if it actually happens, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be close for a map. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that fourth map could be close. I mean, you never know. You never know with the TBD teams. Definitely some of the favorites. Even though they don't really get that much done.
yeah, they're really
Um,
determined for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
they,
um,
they have a lot of experience with push maps, I heard. So
oh really? Okay, that's interesting. Um, Hammerhead versus Adrenalines. I kind of was back and forth on. Um, I'm not gonna make anybody talk about it, but I don't know. I felt like both of these teams being 2 and 3 is more of a result of the opponents they played. I think both of them are looking really solid, and I would definitely not count either of them out. Even though Spuds is likely the favorite to win, I think any of these teams has a chance in this pool. Moving up to the Orem pool, or is it? I don't know if it's A pool, B pool, C pool, or still Orem, Indigo, Azure. Um,
I think it's Arum
okay,
Azure. Probably
okay.
picking
So
anyone then.
that's helpful because then I don't have to change anything on the slides. But the first match we have is Sydney Sunsets versus Guangzhou Gangsters, a rematch, and everybody going 4-0 in favor of the Gangsters. And the next match is Decapitators versus Amnesia. I went with a 3-1 for Decaps, which I don't. Yeah, I did pick that. I did pick that. I'll stay confident in my answer. Polar and Phoenix going the other direction with wins for Amnesia, 4-0 and 3-1 respectively. And the last match is Oath versus Death Cards. I went with a 3-1 for Death Cards, same with Phoenix. However, Polar has Oath winning in 5. Um, I don't want to explain my decap situation, mostly because I don't remember what that was. Um, but yeah, what do we think about this match? Because I think this is, I don't know. People are, from what I've seen so far in the Preds, people are one way or the other. It's very dominant performances in terms of predictions for either way. Um, but I think this match is. I also forgot that Magpolar is a member of Decaps. So my bad. But what?
Different
Oh,
guy.
different Magpolar. Okay, my bad
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
My bad. But what do we think about this match? Because I think the 4-0 in favor of Amnesia, even though it might be a little bit of a troll. I think this is a very good match, very close match.
Yeah, like Amnesia's really super strong teams, really talented players. Like got some people like Speedy666, like Overwatch 2's hitting. He could definitely just deadlift certain games. You never really know. Other players as well, like Capital or Greninja, like just players that could win a couple maps just on by their own. Uh, Definitely just see a face plan from Decapitators off map like game one.
I think. Oh, you go, Phoenix. You go.
Um, I mean, you were kind of gassing up Amnesia, so I feel like I need to do the same with like decaps because like they also have really good, strong players as well. Um, so like I feel like skill wise, like they're pretty even. I just think that Amnesia got like a really strong win with Devil Dukes, one of our like stronger teams in this division. So it kind of shows a lot, and it's more recency bias. Decapitators played like Palm Beach Poggers, Culture, Crabbers.
Hey,
So
don't talk down about the crabbers.
yeah, that's true. I'm just saying, like, they didn't. go against like a top six team recently, and it's not like decapitators are like aren't proven at all. It's just that Amnesia got a 4-0 win against a strong competitor, so that's why I have Amnesia up there. But decapitators can very easily win this overall.
Yeah. Definitely going to be a close match. I think. I think 3-1 or 3-2. Although I've said that in the past, I've been proven wrong. So who knows? Moving over to Azure, what do we have there? Phoenix.
So our first match is Devil Dukes versus Reckless Sigma. Um, Nerfed and Polar have 3-1 for Devil Dukes. I have Sigma taking a 3-2 victory. Then we have Frostfisher versus Arctic Foxes. Me and Polar have a 3-1 in favor of Frostfisher, while Nerfed has a 1-3 with Arctic Foxes. And then in our Elam pool, we have Palm Beach Foggers versus Lijiang Legion. Um, I have a 1-3 in favor of Legion, and Magpolar and Nerfed both have a 5-map series where Nerfed favors Palm Beach Poggers and Magpolar favors Legion.
I love the Poggers. I want them to win. I very, very much want to see them win. So I'm gonna keep priding them until it happens. What's interesting about this pool though is that it's really just the Indigo pool from last stage. Three of these teams have played each other already, so we're going to see a lot of rematches in this stage. But Phoenix, walk me through the Sigma pick because I could definitely see it happening. But I kind of want to hear your thought process.
So like I said earlier, the I wouldn't say devastating loss, but they did to Amnesia. Um, Albeit like Amnesia is like one of our best teams, but I feel like the momentum will carry them down a bit when Sigma has been winning pretty handedly against even like teams in their skill level around their rank overall. Like they beat Classified recently and stuff like that. So I feel like they're going to do a lot better this time around.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Devil Duke's biggest issue is the clutch factor. I think this team struggles when it comes to big matches. And we saw that both against the Arctic Foxes and against Amnesia last stage. Um, so in a pool where you know the other two teams, but this team is new, and there's a lot of playoff implications on the line for each and every one of your matches. I think that could cause them to struggle a little bit. Um, I definitely see them as at least a top two team, but you never know. Moving it over to the Indigo pool, what do we have there, Polar?
First match is going to be Classified versus Culture, with both Nerfed and Phoenix taking Classified for the 3-1. Myself actually going 4-0 for Culture. Next, we have Crab Nation versus 413 Catalyst. Me and Nerfed, with Krabby Crabbers taking the win, and then Phoenix with the first draw pick, I guess, of 3-0 for 413 Catalyst. And then last match is Billings Boomers versus the present TBD, with Billings Boomers taking the convincing 4-0.
I think Billings Boomers are kind of the just like the favorites for me to win Elam pool, so I don't even think they need this bye week. And then for the Crabbers match, I went the other way initially. But I had to swap once I saw their roster changes. I think Smokey did a really good job in Discord tier. And I think that they picked up Dragon, they dropped Mog. I'm just kind of reading through the roster transactions channel, but they've made a lot of changes recently, and I think that when you're struggling, that's kind of something you need to do. And I mad props to them. But I think that will greatly improve their results in this second stage.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to change that because even though I'm known to predict draws, I think what happened there was I was trying to decide if it was going to be a 3-2 or a 3-1. and I couldn't
Yeah.
decide because
So
that match kind
I
of
marked it as
hard
0, because there just wasn't anything there. But I guess I can change that
yeah.
real quick to the 3-1. Um, any other matches we want to talk about in this little group? Um,
I just want to give a quick shout out to Culture. Um, I think the players like individually are a top team in the league if you look at if you just split people up individually. Definitely Overwatch 2 with more chaotic because it's brand new. Like definitely see this team just kind of running through their group.
I think Culture have had an up and down stage one. Um, so I would
Yeah,
love to see them kind of find their footing here in a pool that I don't think is that difficult for them to win. I don't think it would be that outlandish if they did come out on top. So we'll have to see. But that is all of our matches. So now let us go ahead and look at the top five this week. Um, so the in fifth place for that says week three. My bad, I haven't changed that in a while, I don't think. But in fifth place we have Mr. Yeti with 76 points. And then we have a three-way tie for second. With Dabmaster, Capital, and Keegsmon Swag all getting 77 points. That is in order of most to least favorite. So, because I could not think of any other way. I'm just kidding, by the way. Because
I
if it
mean,
was, Capital would be at the bottom. um, and then in first place is Bowsy with 78 points. So very close. Week five predictions. There the like sixth and seventh places were like 75, 74. So a lot of high end scores, and a lot of very close together scores. Did you have something, Phoenix?
no, I'm just saying it does work as a rankings because the master is at the bottom.
Yeah, it's hard to pick between Master and Capital. I really just left Capital there because he was already third place last week. So, otherwise he would have been at the bottom. um, Moving over to the overall rankings though, not a whole lot of changes. The only really change is that I fell down to fifth place and Bowsy took my place in fourth, but only by 1 point. So, I slacked a little bit this week, but I come back next week. Third place, the top three are the same, have not changed all season, I don't think. We have Yeti in third, we have PDK in second, and Capital in first place. Those top two specifically do not seem to be changing anytime soon. They are kind of running away with it. They've been very very solidly at the top of the predictions leaderboard all season. Um, so yeah, that is all of our matches. That is also the predictions, or not the predictions, the leaderboard. So looking into this week's featured matches, we have Asir versus Hive Mind on Tuesday. That is the Harmony EU feature match. And then later that day is Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies versus Clairvoyance, the NA Harmony match. On Wednesday, we have the Transcendence match of Krabby Crabbers versus 413 Catalyst. Let's go Crowd Nation. Thursday, EU Discord is Mythical Kitsune versus Paid to Win. And on Thursday later is Galactic Givens versus Avalon. Make sure to go and support the Givens. Um, but with all that out of the way, is there anything else you guys would like to say?
No.
Well, I'm looking forward to all the upsets, especially like
Yes.
if we all predict against you. Like this is Overwatch 2. It honestly, we don't have much to go off of,
Yeah.
so it'd be fun to see that. Like prove us wrong.
Mhm.
Especially TBD.
Yeah.
I really hope that team finds a lot of success this season.
Yeah, I'm rooting for TBD. I'm rooting for everybody. Like we've been talking about, it's a new game, new stage. Everything is different. So prove us wrong. But I have been nerfed. Joined by Polar and Phoenix. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.